Now, if you've been watching the sport of MMA for a while, you've probably become a fan of certain individual fighters. If you're a Conor McGregor fan, you're probably a casual who only watches the sport every now and then. If you're a Khabib fan, you're probably an athlete yourself. And if you're a John Jones fan, you're probably a f***ing loser. And today, I'm going to be ranking the prime of every UFC legend I can think of. 10 the GOAT, 1 ass.
I'm in the toilet taking a shit.
Now, from the title of this video, you probably knew I was going to be talking about this guy. And for good reason. When this guy was in his prime, Conor McGregor single-handedly carried the UFC's popularity into superstardom. I mean, whenever we look at the most sold pay-per-views in fighting history, Conor is 5 in the top 8. And this includes boxing too. Not only could this guy sell a fight, but whenever he would step into the ring, it would be absolute art. Like, the way he managed to say and predict how he would knock out Aldo was fucking insane. And how he managed to finish Eddie Alvarez and Donald Cerrone in less than 3 rounds combined. On top of that, this guy managed to become the first ever simultaneous double champ in the UFC. And then after that, he went on to boxing and actually did pretty well against one of the greatest boxers ever. However, though, after that boxing match, Conor lost his spark, and we know what happened.
Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby!
But that's not what we're here for. The question is, how does Conor rank among these other legends? His striking, S tier. Grappling, I'll give him like a B. Stamina, C. Mentality, S. And finally, overall, I'll give him a solid 7.5 out of 10.
But the kid is not my son.
Now, if I'm gonna be honest, I was not that big of a fan of this guy back in the day. I know, it sounds crazy. But the reason why I wasn't that much of a fan was because he managed to beat the GOAT Chael Sonnen twice. But after watching a couple hours of his film, I can confidently agree that this guy was one of the greatest fighters of all time. With him being the undisputed champion for 2,457 days, a record that has still never been beat, this guy was fucking good. On top of that, this guy's dodging and counter technique is fucking beautiful. Especially if majority of the fights that he's fought in ends with him finishing the opponent. My only problem with him was the fact that he kept fighting though after he lost the belt and becoming like 60 years old. But nevertheless, this guy was the shit. Like, Anderson Silva managed to beat names such as Dan Henderson, Forrest Griffin, Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, and Stephan Bonner. And I know that there's much more notable names, but I'd be going on for days. Now, when it comes to striking, I'd give him a solid S tier, grappling A tier, aura S tier, and overall a solid 9 out of 10.
My friend here, Justin.
Now, I know what I'm about to say is going to be the most general shit ever, and you've probably already heard this from like 50 other YouTubers, but George St-Pierre has to be one of the most respectful, loving killers on the planet. Because holy cow, this guy managed to beat everyone he fought. And some might say, oh, he lost to Matt Hughes on Matt.
Shut the fuck up.
If you're the one making this argument, you should be banned from watching the sport of MMA. Because not only did GSP beat both of them after, but knocked and submitted them both too. Not only that, this guy took a 4-year break from MMA and still came back and beat Michael Bisping, the guy who beat Anderson Silva and dethroned Luke Rockhold.
Daddy, chill.
Like, for me personally, I don't really begin my motherfuckers don't actually like this guy. I mean, he's thick, he can strike, he's sexy. Whoa. Yo, I swear I like girls. Okay, on a real note though, I don't really have much to say about this guy other than the fact that he was just that fucking good. So I would give his striking a solid S, tenacity S, charisma S, wrestling S, and a solid 9.99 out of 10.
Hey brother, it's me, Charles Olivera. Happy birthday to you. Let's go.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. Charles Olivera may not be one of the greatest fighters of all time, especially with this record, but in my heart, he is. I swear, this is the only fighter on the planet where if he were to be fighting like a 300-pound fighter who would be the best in the world, I would be still cheering for this guy on the sidelines while going some... Yo, I swear I'm not racist. Charles Olivera has to be arguably one of my favorite fighters of all time. So seeing him lose to Ilia made me shed a tear. But he is like one of the greatest fighters of all time. Like, when this fight was happening, it was me and my boys in the basement of my house, and we were just chilling and watching the fights. Then like the first round starts, and keep in mind, we were already hype as shit because we were like wrestling each other and like doing random stuff. And I would like to just preface this. Majority of us have girls, so we ain't gay. And then the infamous moment happened. And not gonna lie, we were fucking shell-shocked.
What the fuck? You knocked him out!
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie. We look like fucking children. But as you can tell, we were shocked as hell. And at the beginning of the fight, we just thought Charles Oliveira was gonna grab him and absolutely Spider-Man his fucking ass. And I mean, we were kind of right, but Ilia Topuria has like 3 more brain cells and got out of the leg lock. and I can't say the same for Charles. But where am I going with all of this? Overall, he might not be one of the GOATs, but he will always be a really good fighter. And for this reason, I think he should be in this video. Also, it's my video, and I can do whatever the hell I want. So, for striking, I would like to give him a C+. His grappling, S. Personality, S. And overall, I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, nah, bro. Just watch my old videos.
And guess what? You guys know, when my kids went to Dagestan, we smashed.
Now, I don't think I need to explain myself on why I believe that this guy's one of the greatest fighters of all time. I mean, 29-0 record, never bled, most 10-8 rounds in the UFC, beat Conor, Poirier, Gaethje, Quinta, way more. This guy was like the Michael Jordan of the sport, except his entire personality was based around respect. Like, Khabib was the first ever UFC superstar that became a role model fighter. And I know this might be a little fanboyish of me, but to be honest, Khabib was arguably the person who brought wrestling into the fame of combat sports. And I know that there was other famous wrestlers in the sport way before him, but I just think that this guy was the biggest and most influential of them all. Other than the Gracies, which, hold up. I actually have like a question. This shit's been on like my mind for a minute. Would y'all consider wrestling to be on the whole spectrum of grappling? Because like, you're still touching dudes, but like not in a gay way. Like in other grappling sports, you be doing shit like pulling guard and being in these weird ass positions, but in wrestling, your only goal is to put them on your back. So like, I wouldn't really consider wrestling to be grappling, but more like a variation of it, you know? But like, what's y'all's opinion on this? Anyways, let's get back to Khabib. Now, in other people's opinion, they would usually dismiss Khabib for being one of the greatest fighters of all time because he didn't fight enough opponents, or he didn't fight long enough in the UFC. But like, bro, these are the same people that glazed John Jones' 28-1 record, which is the same amount of fights as Khabib. And Khabib sustained multiple injuries throughout his career and remained undefeated. Now let's rate him. His striking, I'll give him like a B. Wrestling, S. Mentality, S. And overall, I'd say he's a solid 9.9 out of 10.
How do you think you would beat Ilia Topuria?
Now, I know this whole video was supposed to go over the primes of each of these fighters, but like, I low-key forgot about that when I was making the script for this video, and I'm like too lazy to change it. So fuck you, I'm gonna talk about Ilia Topuria. Now, when Ilia Topuria started his career in the UFC, this guy was already projected to be a legend when he managed to beat Ryan Hall. And not gonna lie, the only thing stopping this guy from becoming one of the greatest of all time is a fight against Islam Makhachev. But apart from that, Ilia Topuria is practically there. Even though this guy's only had 17 fights, he's already fought against some of the best people on the planet and has dominated those fights. And in those 17 fights, he's already obtained double champ and brought glory to Spain. Plus, he's the main fight on the White House card. Like, this is the kind of hype we had when John Jones was champion. Except Ilia doesn't take steroids and fucking eye poke every second. Now, if I've not made it obvious already, I love Ilia Topuria. So you already know why I'm gonna rank this guy. 10 out of motherfucking 10!